Everybody, welcome. Let me spec Jason's game here and see how long this is going to take. If it's like a surrender at 20, we might wait on him. But he's probably going to log off after this, though. Let's see how it looks. Sorry, I did sleep in a little bit, too. I do have class tomorrow, so sleeping a little bit. This is my last week of physical classes, though. Just have like a weekend of conferences. It'll probably be pretty busy, but and I am almost leveled up all the way in World of Warcraft. Once I get max level, I'm still going to be doing stuff on there, obviously, but I won't have to spend as much time leveling and doing all that. So I should have some more time to sleep and then subsequently get more content out for League and Total War, and then actually start doing some WoW content as well. Okay. Yeah, all the towers are still up, and he is likely to probably have to go to sleep anyway. So we'll just go ahead and. I did get up at 10:30, but I was so tired that I was just like, I just have to go back to sleep for a little bit. And I think I meant to get up at like 11:30, but then I think I may have turned my alarm off. So, anyways, okay. But we have been doing very well lately, so that's the good news. I think we're 6-0 on Rakan, and 6-0 in our last 6 games. So hopefully we're back on track here. I think my Smurf account definitely has a better win rate than my main account. My main account is just in a really sad state right now. I'm kind of embarrassed to even get on my main account, to be honest, but we'll get back on there too. But the Smurf account has been working well. I mean, they're called main and Smurf. They're literally the same division right now, P4, and the Smurf might actually have more LP than the main. I'm not 100%. Hey, what's up, Nagarake? I'm at 47. I'm not sure what my main's at, but it's probably not much more than that, so I hope you're doing alright, man. Yeah, what's up, Vanakin? Ooh, I can open stuff. I forgot. These little events are fun, but I totally forget they even exist, to be honest. The little mini games, but you know, there's not much more they can do with the mini games. Oh, when does the Dark Moon Fair come around again? Because I don't have enough yet to buy it, but I saw a couple of the Dark Moon cards where people were putting them up for bid for 1,500 gold. Okay. First Monday of every month. Let's just get rid of Kha'Zix, I guess. I mean, I deal with Kha'Zix pretty well. Maybe I should get rid of, like, Jinx. I don't know. I'm not sure who I should ban. I think Rakan's pretty good into most things that are not, like, obscure picks, like Vhagar and Poppy. Yeah, but that card historically has gone for about 3,000 to 3,500, and now it's going for about 1,500. He wasn't hovering. I'm being nice. You can't complain about something getting banned if it's a really good champion and you don't hover it. What's up, Robert? Um, I mean, that sucks, but I guess if I would have scouted this out first, if he's like a one-trick Kha'Zix, I guess I could have seen that. I mean, he plays some Kha'Zix, but that would not jump out to me as, oh my god, I can't ban Kha'Zix if I saw that. So, okay, my percentages are actually starting to look pretty good on Maokai and Rakan again here on this account. Okay, so this guy's like turbo auto-filled. Never plays ADC. Jinx is pretty easy. Lord Sig, 48% on Nasus. CO3, 44% on Talon. This guy's not super tilted, but not happy. What does fine LOL mean? Are they switching? This guy's like saying he's gonna turbo int. I think he's joking, but I think I'm just gonna dodge. I mean, there's not really much to be excited about here. Like, literally nobody's on one of their main champs. I don't know if I played Dark Moon Fair in Classic. I did it in Warlords of Draenor. It was actually pretty fun. Oh, it's in Mulgore? Oh, God. Oh, it alternates between Mulgore and Elwyn. It'd be nice if I could have it by the beginning of May. Hey, what's up, one viewer to another? I don't know if that's going to be possible, though. Oh, you're 2 bars from 60, is that what you're saying? Congrats, you're close. What's up, one viewer to another? Alright, and what do you... There's a pretty good amulet. Decent neck, too. 8. Hey, what's up, Shim? 2 shoutouts. Yeah, sorry if I, sometimes my mind's kind of bouncing around. Hecarim's still really good. Okay, anyway, so it turns out my puppy had been chewing my Ethernet cable, but I got a new one. Okay, yeah, that's not good. Well, I'm glad you got a new one. Hey, what's up, Shim? Prof Go and Sina. Well, I'm usually in the process of waking up whenever I start streaming, and then also I was reading something on a second monitor. And in general, my attention is not that good. I'm pretty sure that I have undiagnosed ADHD. That I kind of always have. I'm just pretty functional, pretty highly functional with it, but it's still just a thing that I kind of work against. Yeah, we'll just do Rakan. I'm not sure about Poppy Jungle. I've seen it work really well. I know if Butter, I think it's Butter My Tushy, really loves Poppy Jungle. Alright, let's take a look. God, just pretend that you can't see my stuff on the screen. This account is just like, it's just cursed, man. God. My other account, I'm like 55%. This one, I'm like 44%. Unbelievable. But you know what? We can get back up there. Still got a long season ahead of us. Heimer. We have this oddball crew. Like a bunch of F-list champs. I mean, it's not that Poppy and Heimer like can't be good. They're just so obscure. That guy's pretty good on Zed. I mean, he's 100%. This guy's pretty good on Lucian. Just 7th Heaven. Just never plays Heimerdinger. What's he against? Singed. I guess. I guess. Yeah. I mean, on this account, I would not doubt if people dodge me. Sometimes. It's fine. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, yeah, that sounds good, Dylan. Whatever you want, man. Just let me know what you have in mind. We can make it happen. Hey, what's up, Jacob? Thanks so much. Appreciate you coming out, hanging out with us. Hey, what's up, Stoner? It's going all right. It's going all right. Had a pretty good day, just hanging out with my daughter. My wife got to work from home today, so that was cool. And then I had my last couple of classes of the semester. I always have mixed, mixed feelings about that because, I mean, it's cool to have the extra time in the summertime, obviously. Make more content this summer, really, like, turbo work on that dissertation if they will still let me. And then but I don't get, I like working with the students, especially this semester. I have a lot of returning students. I had like 10 of 15 or so in each one of my classes that I'd had last semester, so I've kind of known these kids for like a year or so at this point. And so I've had a lot of fun working with them. You know, they've been writing some great essays, kind of joking around with them in class. It's been one of my favorite groups of students, so it's gonna be sad seeing them go, but it just is how it is. That's how it be.
If it don't get out of control, it ain't a party.
Minions have spawned.
Hopefully some of them will holler at me in the future for some evals, or not evals, letters of recommendation and that type of stuff.
Crap.
No, they're just returning because they signed up and they're able to take my class again. So from like, you know, English 101 to English 102. I started a TA position, you're not a fan. Well, it kind of depends on your subject and what you're able to do and just your disposition towards teaching, I guess. I mean, some people love it, some people don't. Like my wife's dad for a little while there was a basically a TA, or a I guess he kind of managed it, like he managed his own class, but basically they had a very specific sort of regimen that he had to follow. Like they had basically a handbook. It was like, you must do this, you must assign this on this day, you have to do these things in this order. It was like for chemistry, so there's a lot less sort of freedom and input there, and I probably would not like that system as much as my current one, which is pretty wide open. It's like, hey, they have to meet these goals, here's some very loose, you know, guidelines, but otherwise you get to pretty much determine how you're going to do it. So it is super early. Well, they didn't get a spring break this year at my university. I can't get the Ezreal because he's just going to E away probably. I mean, maybe there's a chance, but but yeah, that's why it is really early. So their official like last class meeting is not tomorrow, but like a week from tomorrow on a Tuesday, and then they have a couple of study days in the weekend, and then it's finals week the week after that. So technically their classes are like, all of their stuff is over the first week of May. But in my class, I have them doing final presentations via Zoom. Have them doing final presentations via Zoom, and in exchange for that, then we don't meet one of the classes, one of the final classes. So Nocturne could be bottom, I doubt it, but we gotta watch out for it. Yeah, here he is. Okay.
Turn in, turn on, drop out. Ain't gonna slow me
down. But yeah, it is earlier because they didn't get a spring break, because they didn't want everyone going off on spring break and getting COVID and then coming back. Now, a lot of students have just low-key gone on spring break anyways. They just missed classes, and I really don't blame them. Like, they really need a break in the middle. Like, I can kind of understand why they did what they did, but like, I get it for like safety reasons, but for mental health reasons, like, kids really do need spring break. Like, I know it's kind of like, you know, everyone just goes out and parties and engages in some debauchery, you know, for a week, but that's actually really important to go do that, right? Like, people aren't machines. They can't just, you know, function at full capacity the entire time as long as they're plugged in, right? Or have charge in their battery. you know, and college is very stressful, and getting out and going and having some fun is actually really, really important sometimes, so. Alright, I'm back. I got gold. It's in the tower. We need to back. Okay, hold on. Let me catch up on the conversation here in a second. I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and get boots. Yeah. I do miss the free boots, but Ulti Hunter does scale really well into the mid and late game. Okay, so let me catch up here real quick. Say hi to the missus. I definitely will. She's asleep right now, but okay, you want to research position, but they're harder to get. Agreed. Yeah, I think we might have different definitions of like TA, like what that means. Shit, yeah, there's way too many minions there. I didn't notice the minion stack when I started that, and Braum is like really tanky too, so. Haven't played against a Braum in a little while. Q actually hurts. Okay. Oh, Lucian didn't back. Cool. So when I told him to back, he didn't. So now we're really disadvantaged in lane. Like I said. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, and then any update on the chemistry? No, they're sticking to their guns. Just basically, oh, okay. Wow. We got his flash. No Nocturne's there. Is he 6? He is 6. Yeah, so nothing really there. I did receive, I will say, just kind of in confidence, I did receive a an SDS notification from a couple of students, which is Student Disability Services, that we're talking about alternate test means and things like that. So I'm not saying that's, and it said specifically on this person's schedule that like this applied to chemistry. I thought maybe we could turn that, but Nocturne was like pretty damn strong. And he was gonna one-shot me. I was so low from that bad trade earlier. So I'm not saying necessarily that students did that in order to get around the chemistry thing, that a couple of industrious students came up with that. And I don't know what the protocols are to get those accommodations from SDS, but those students found a way to probably either get the test online or get it early or do something to bypass the chemistry thing. So again, I don't know how tough their screening protocols are to qualify for that type of stuff, and I'm not saying necessarily they did it because of the chemistry thing, but I am saying that this is really late in the semester to receive a letter for that. And it specifically mentioned chemistry by name in the email that I got, so.
Zaya, hey! Damn, where is she? I hate it when she...
That would be pretty amusing. I mean, not that like the student disability is like a joke or anything, but I think that it would be pretty amusing if just like pretty much everyone that was in that chemistry class applied for accommodations. And SDS is just like, what the hell? Why are we getting like 600 students applying for this at this point in the semester? It's like, well, because your chemistry department has lost their mind. But anyways, so I think it's pretty funny, just some of the stuff that students come up with. Once again, I'm not sure if that's entirely the thing, but
Magic.
but a student can and get the same degree with me with additional help. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, that's how the disability stuff works. And personally, you know, I understand people can manipulate the system, but overall, I think it's a pretty good, I think it's a pretty good idea, pretty good system, even if, like, it does lower the regulations a little bit if somebody has something that is difficult to quantify or prove or whatever. I still think it's fine. But, you know, part of that is, in my field at least, I don't give time tests or time quizzes. I already provide all of the notes online that and I archive them so they can access it anytime they want. I allow, if someone has attendance still matters as far as like, you can't just always attend online, but if you do miss, I do give an option to watch the class via Zoom. Nice. So mine's already like really friendly towards that type of stuff, and just the kind of the stuff that I give are just like large papers that students have a long time to work on anyway, so it really doesn't affect me and my field that much. So, you know, preferencing that, I am going to be a little bit biased.
I feel good.
Yeah, we need to back up.
Humans think that to believe in something you have to be serious about it. That's their problem. See what's happening now.
Versus, I know it would be more difficult to do that type of stuff in a science, like a chemistry type of setting, where really standardized tests are sort of a way of life, that type of stuff. But I think in general, it's a good idea to emphasize whenever possible. Again, I know it's tough in fields, but whenever possible to minimize, you know, like timed tests and, you know, high stakes, high pressure tests and things like that, because I don't really think that tests a lot of like real world situations. There are some things where you're under like a huge amount of stress and you have to make a tough decision under fire like really quickly, but I feel like that's not most jobs most of the time. So I think that creates an artificial environment where you're really testing like how stressed people get about certain things and how well they operate in a high stress environment rather than how well they actually know the material. That's my opinion on it. And again, I know it's hard to do the bigger projects and, you know, non-standardized tests for things like chemistry and physics and stuff like that, but I think SDS is on the right track with requiring these things, trying to minimize time tests and things of that nature, because I think that those types of ways of testing and ways of learning are flawed to begin with, in my view. And once again, as I keep saying, I have the luxury of teaching in a field and teaching in a department where that kind of stuff doesn't really apply. Yeah. No, it is. Well, yeah, I mean, I agree that, like, there's, like, rampant grade inflation. As far as, like, quality of, if that's how we're measuring quality of education, I think definitely it doesn't mean what it used to, right? Like, someone having a you know, a 4.0 as a chemistry major or something now doesn't mean what it did in the 90s or something like that, right?
Without wild magic,
But
Has been slain.
I think the purpose of universities has also changed. It's kind of become high school 2.0, right? And a lot of professional programs where you really have to know the material, those are graduate programs now versus before maybe an undergrad was like that. So I think it's just been shuffled up a little bit to where, like, you know, what's currently is an undergrad, or like what was an undergrad, I should say, maybe 10 years ago, would be a grad school thing now
the universe loves you.
in a lot of situations. So I don't necessarily, so yes, sort of. I think the quality has sort of gone down, but I think it's just been designed to be more accessible for a greater amount of the population. And then grad school has become the more, like, elite specialized thing. So many more schools, or so many more programs either require or heavily encourage you to get a master's now. Like, you know, before an undergrad in education was good enough to be a high school teacher, right? Versus now, most of the time, at least in my state, they want you to have a master's. Engineering, you know, undergrad, good enough most of the time in the past, now really encourage you to have a master's. And I think it's that way in a lot of fields. I know teaching, to be a full-time lecturer at my university, just until like 5 years ago, master's was fine. And frankly, it should be fine because all you're doing is teaching. You're not doing heavy research. So I don't know why you would have to have a PhD for that. But they changed it, and now you have to have a PhD for it. So I got to make sure I finish my PhD. Yeah. I don't know if, I mean, were we that far ahead? I wasn't even keeping up. I suppose so. I took that one bad trade early, but... Oh, what elo are we at? Jeez, we're honor level 3. 68. So yeah, I do think that it has become a little easier in general and more accessible to more people, but I think that that's fine. It's just become like an intermediary step. It's almost like high school 2.0. It's like a system between high school and between old school college versus like masters is the new, you know, kind of step up from undergrad more often. And there are a lot of little programs too that are like postdoc programs that are popular too, like you've got nursing school as well, then you've got law school, then you've got, these are all just different iterations of grad school, I suppose. You got law school, and then you've got PA, physician's assistants, like really hot right now. Yeah, what's up, millionaires? So I think as far as difficulty level, I think it's fine. It's just society's just been kind of adjusting for the last 15 years to these things. I do think that there are too many requirements on people going to 4-year universities. Now, I think it's good if people can go, but it's so expensive now in a lot of places. And frankly, it's like, do you need an undergraduate degree to go, like, sell insurance in an office? I mean, I can't imagine that that would be much better than just, like, 3 months training on the job, you know? And you definitely, for something like plumber, electrician, HVAC tech, you know, all that kind of stuff can make pretty good money. And you don't have to go to college for those, so. Yo, what's up, Jacob? Jacob Chavez. Been talking with Jacob Besser. Okay, let me see. Yeah, it just depends. I'm really not that worried. Like, my goal is just get students to learn these few things that I want them to learn in my class, and if they can remember that and learn those skills and like have it be useful for them, both in their professional and personal lives, that's mission accomplished to me. I don't really care if more people get A's or less people get A's as far as like grade inflation goes. Whatever. I'm just interested in teaching them the skills. Alistair says, what do I think about, or what do I know about 6-month Google certificates? I'm not sure, so I don't know. Depends on what it's in. I think that something like that could work if it's, you know, some kind of fairly straightforward, you know, IT type of stuff. I've heard of like fast IT degrees. Like there's a university around here, or an institution, I guess, called ITT Tech. I remember seeing commercials for that even back in the 90s. So I don't know. I mean, it depends on what you're doing, but sure. I mean, I think having more options to students post high school is a good thing. Like different training programs, and as long as it's accredited, you know, and gets them where they need to be professionally, and as long as other professionals in the field recognize those degrees, I think that's fine. Some of the for-profit online institutes, I think, are hustling a lot of people though, because they're expensive, and a lot of times the accreditation is not quite there. So the professionals don't see them in the same light. And it's all about how much value people put on that degree. I mean, a lot of it is how much you learn, obviously, from those things. But let's be real. You know, you can learn a lot of broad information just from, like, Google or your local library or something, right? Just reading stuff. You can learn a lot. Now, you can't, it depends on your field. You can't get everything, probably, without some sort of guidance. But you can learn a hell of a lot just online these days. So, you know, a major attraction to getting, you know, to go into college and stuff like that is getting that, you know, sheet of paper, right? Or that digital sheet of paper, getting that degree. And sometimes that's worth more in some places than others. So it's just getting that street cred. Yeah, I mean, sort of what Jay Bear is saying. A lot of degrees, you know, if you just have a general, just humanities degree, and you get out and you just go work in an office somewhere, you're probably making less. You're almost certainly making less than like a any of the trades, right? Plumber, electrician, all that kind of stuff. You're almost making less, and you have more debt, and you haven't been working for as long. If you're a plumber and you start like right out of high school, you know, you start making good money right when you're 18. And especially if you start saving that money, not only do you not have debt, but you've actually been earning money the entire time, like pretty good money. I'm sure there's an apprenticeship and stuff like that where you're maybe not making a ton for the first year. But if you just kind of start saving that prudently, you know, you get even more like high quality working years in you. So there's that also. The German Jacob and the Hispanic Jacob, true. Well, maybe you have to have multiple of those certificates to get a job at Google. I'm not really sure. If they give you, I mean, if they give you a straight job pathway to work at Google, like, hey, get these 4 certificates and we will hire you in this department. If they do that, then yes, that's great. If they can guarantee that. But there's so little that's guaranteed in the workforce, and if for some reason you ever get fired or you want to quit and go work for another company, how much are those credentials going to transfer over? It's basically their own in-house training is what it sounds like with the Google certificates. Guess we can just ban Morg.
Your worst decisions will haunt you.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, I like the idea of investing in yourself too. I mean, it's huge. Like, my critical thinking in general is, like, way higher. But I think I was a fairly, you know, knowledgeable, thoughtful dude, you know, in my 20s or whatever, but I feel like I've leveled up astronomically going to grad school and teaching and stuff like that. I feel like I'm on another level from where I was in my past life when I was just working in the restaurant. Just, it's not even like the specific stuff. Like, I don't remember every single proper noun from like my critical theory class in grad school, but just learning how to think on those types of levels and look at certain things and think about stuff from these different perspectives, all of that has, you know, really dramatically reshaped my critical thinking quite a bit, and I would not have had that experience if I didn't go to grad school. So yes, even though am I ever gonna like really use that critical theory, like the proper nouns in most conversations? Probably not. Am I ever gonna mention Lacan or Derrida in most conversations? Probably not, right? But it's just the ideas they presented to me, and then trying to teach some of those ideas over time has really helped my critical thinking. So yes, I'm not gonna get you know, a 6-figure job off of that kind of thing, but I think just having improved critical thinking has helped me a ton in just, you know, living my life. Then you could get that through other fields too, I'm sure, but I think it was definitely helpful. And you don't go into debt for like English in grad school. Most people don't, right? Like, you're a TA, so they pay you, you know, indentured servant wages, and you teach classes for them, but at least you don't have debt. Unless you take out, like, for the... Hold on a second. Okay, they're pretty good on stuff. Take it. What is bottom? Syndra? Okay, we'll stick with this. It's fine. The enemy team can't see the chat. He linked his Twitch, but it was just an allied chat at the beginning. Yeah. I never link mine just because, I don't know, I could grow the fan base, but I don't want to bring in any, if people are mad at me after the game or in Champ Select or whatever. I'd rather just try to keep a positive community, even if it's a little more tight-knit, even if I don't grow as fast. I'd rather people just try to find me organically. And I need to release more videos that will draw people in organically, because my growth has, you know, obviously basically been flatline for a while. It's kind of... And there's a lot of reasons for that, but I could be putting out, you know, more guides or individual gameplay or something like that and grow it up, but I'm just trying to work on too many things right now. Once I get leveled up in WoW, I don't have to spend as much time leveling. Then I can start, you know, coming up with the other content again. I wish if we had health, I could use my funding for supplementation like vitamins. I'm not really sure what you're saying, Jacob, but I like the idea. Universal healthcare, could use my funding. Oh, you want to study that stuff?
I only believe in myself. Ooh, and Saya.
If you get a job at Google, you don't need any other credentials. Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess Google is good. Do I believe in universal healthcare? I think I like the idea, but coming up with how to manage it and how to fund it is really complicated in the United States. Talk about this all the time, but the U.S. is a very different kind of place, I think, from other places, in that we have a very unhealthy population, and it's very large, diverse, and has a very complex kind of political and legal system. So yeah, in theory, if I could wave a magic wand and everyone gets like full coverage healthcare without increasing costs of stuff, sure. But I do think the healthcare system's broken and a lot of stuff needs to be done with it, but it's figuring out what needs to be done is complicated. I think hopefully we're working on it, making some steps. Could you just hit the last minion, man? So we can hit level 2. There you go. But yes, I do think there needs to be improvements. But I think personally it's more difficult to do that, like I said, in the United States than it would be in like Switzerland or something like that. You just gotta hit him every now and then just to get some charges, put a little damage on him. But yeah, I don't want to get too far in the weeds on that conversation. I think it's an important conversation to have, but it's just something everyone's divided about. I think the answer's not simple, obviously, or I think we would have solved it already. I don't think it's that people want to not solve it. I just think that it's really difficult.
Life sucks, but it is less complicated.
But I mean, like, the basic thing is that we're already paying a universal healthcare, right? You're paying it one way or another. In the sense that if someone goes to the hospital and they don't have healthcare, well, you're paying for it one way or another, right? Like if someone goes to the hospital and they have, you know, stage 4 cancer or something like that, the hospital doesn't turn them away most of the time. Like they're going to take them, they're going to rack up a major bill, and then they're going to die. And then that cost is going to be passed on to everyone else that pays insurance premiums. And that's why the insurance premiums go up all the time. It's because something like half the bills never get paid when people die. So that basically is paying for their health care through everybody else. They just don't call it universal health care. But unless you're just going to turn people away and let them die on the street, then that's how that's going to work. And if you start doing that, then you're going to have riots, and there's already people just looking for any reason to riot right now. Just there's a lot of civil unrest, so yeah, so you know, I think there has to be a better way to handle that than just this de facto insurance premiums go up 10% a year for everybody. I think a big key is getting people in, or getting people to live healthier lifestyles, incentivizing that, and getting people to go to the doctor more often and catch stuff early. Catch the stage 1 cancer that can be treated rather than stage 4. That's not always possible, but, or, you know, like get the weight under control before you get like type 2 diabetes that's going to be impossible or very difficult to reverse, or has already done a ton of damage to your system. So anyways, so yeah, I think a lot of stuff can be done, but I don't think it's as simple as, you know, tax millionaires 50% and call it a day. I mean, I guess that'd be one way to do it, but although I do think that raising the tax a little bit on higher income earners or corporations is probably a good idea. I mean, I haven't read all the details about Biden's proposal, but 28% sounds reasonable, considering back in Obama's era it was 36, and the economy was still doing fantastic in the, you know, 2010s. So there are a lot of smart people that study this much more than I do and offer, you know, more in-depth analysis of like what would happen with different tax codes and stuff. But I think that's a nice compromise, going from whatever it was, 20% to was 36, goes down to 20 now, make it 28. I think that sounds reasonable. There's not a lot I can do about that. I mean, I guess if I held my W, maybe we could have saved her under tower. Probably would have forced Poppy's flash, though. Yeah, they do need to get rid of a lot of tax loopholes. I think there needs to be a minimum tax. That's what the AMT is supposed to be, alternative minimum tax. But it really doesn't work that way, and there isn't one for corporations. But yeah, places like Amazon, you know, playing games on their books, so they pay no tax because they don't earn any money, is pretty ridiculous. And they were doing that for years and years and years. Because that was part of their business model, was to just like, if you make money, just immediately but yeah, if you earn money and then just immediately like reinvest it in your business in all these different ways, and then it doesn't count as earning money, like, that's, to me, is kind of silly. I mean, you don't need, I feel like you don't really need to incentivize companies to reinvest money back into their company. Like, they're gonna do that most of the time, so I don't know. It's all really complicated, like I said. That's just my initial sort of first impressions, or I guess, surface level impressions of it. And I think that's with most people too, is that's not right. When it's like one of the biggest companies in the United States not paying any tax. There's just something that's not proper that's going on there.
Safety is boring, Riku. Let's start a fight.
Maybe. I mean, if that is true, Black Falcon, if the numbers did work in that way, then sure. But I don't think it's that simple, or people would have done that. But I don't know.
Those good guys.
An ally has been slain.
Close tax loopholes, yeah.
Shut down. An enemy has been slain.
Okay, wait a second. Just wait on my ult. There's no reason to rush this right now. Okay, bro, chill. I mean, we might as well wait on Nocturne. Just,
The universe tends to chaos. I'm just helping.
we don't know where mid or their jungle is. I don't want to get counter ganked. They're probably at the dragon. No way.
Shut down.
Wow, really?
Shut down.
And she switched off of her and started chasing the misfortune.
Life sucks from inside, but it is less complicated.
I was trying to heal the Nocturne, but he's just running.
Self-control is for silence. I choose fun.
Maybe, I just don't think that the public should be subsidizing the strongest companies. I don't know. I mean, maybe. Like I said, I don't know everything about it, but I just don't think we collect enough money for how successful the United States is economically and how much money these companies make. Like, we have multiple trillion-dollar companies. That's more than a lot of GDPs of, like, entire countries around the world. And for those types of companies to pay, like, almost nothing in tax is ridiculous, I think. And they get all sorts of other little subsidies and breaks on any number of things, too. I'm not saying like we have to redistribute all of the money these companies make, but I'm just saying like they need to pay some reasonable amount of taxes, and I think 0 is an unreasonable amount. Who died? Teemo. This is my shocked face. With Teemo dying. Oh my god. Wow.
Turret plating will soon fall. The turret has been destroyed.
She wants to go one more. I don't know where their jungler is, but okay. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I agree that there is a lot of lobbying, and you know that does make the conversation, you know, a little slanted, right? It's not disinterested groups arguing about stuff, but at the same time, I don't think it's just that. I think it is actually legit difficult. Because I don't think, like I said, I think our country is much more complicated than some of these smaller countries in terms of the economy and the politics and all that kind of stuff. Because we have such a huge population, an unhealthy population, and a very large, you know, diverse political base, right, around the country. And a lot of countries just don't have that same kind of stuff going on. So, I don't know. I don't want to get too far in the weeds. We talk about this almost every stream. Or every other stream. I don't think anyone's opinion is going to change on it, but... And that's fine. I think it's good to have a diversity of perspectives, too. But... Is this worded? Well, they know our jungler's top. Huh.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
I can't believe they had that worded, or they were just playing very scared.
Darkness is the new hotness.
He does have ult. Okay. Who's that TP? I keep running for Misfortune because I don't want her to channel her ult. So after I CC them, I run straight at Misfortune so she can't ult. If you're wondering why it looks like I'm like hard chasing this Misfortune every time, it's to shut her up so she can't ult. You think Yumi's OP? I think she's very good in the right circumstances. I think she definitely feels OP if certain game conditions are met, right? If you have someone who is really fed on your team. I can't clear that. Well, maybe taking it into state hands, and that there has to be 100% coverage. That's an interesting idea. I could see that.
An ally has been slain.
I think we'll just go for Zeke's here. I just need to be a little tankier because I am getting kind of damaged in some of these fights. How's Teemo doing? Oh, he's 2-5. Cool. When is Teemo ever gonna be like viable? Hey, what's up, Jay? Okay. Well, I guess we didn't know where they were, so Nocturne was a little scared to go in. Which kind of makes sense. We didn't have Samira either.
Universe tends towards chaos. I'm just helping it along.
She's pretty fed. I don't have vision. I need to get vision, but just don't have priority. I really want this cannon though too. Dude, do not freeze it. God, is she really trying to freeze mid lane near our tier 2? That's giving up way too much map. I think freezing is really overrated. What? How did Pop even kill me there? Okay, I guess it worked out. Okay, maybe it was something else. I don't know. There's just so much just random shit that just ticked on me right there. Maybe I burned out from red.
Thanks, Riku. Real cold.
If you don't believe in Teemo, he won't believe in you. I can't argue with that.
So far past redemption, I am in the fun zone. Population Rakan.
They just need to rework him. Soft rework, emphasize the mushrooms. You know, take down his on-hit capabilities. Just have him hard commit to being a scout. I mean, like, the invisibility is cool, but they have to budget around that so much, as they do with pretty much any invisible champion. And the fact that he can show up invisible and, like, ambush, I don't know. I know the mushrooms are, like, more toxic, pun intended. The more toxic part of his kit, but they're also the more unique part of his kit, you know? The landmine traps type of stuff. Figure out a way to balance that and make that like the cornerstone of his kit rather than the on-hit stuff. Okay, Teemo's here for this. What the fuck? fed is she? She'd already used both of her jumps, I thought.
Doing the right thing was
Your team
boring.
has destroyed a
I'm
turret.
waiting for fun now.
Shut down.
Sometimes
Is that gonna be Baron? Maybe. Well, we're on Soul though.
I dance to the beat. The beat called darkness.
How many of them are pushed in? Okay, yeah, if she's a
That planet
Shut down. An ally has been slain.
did we get it?
You
We got
have
it.
slain an enemy.
Okay. 2 for 3 and we got it.
safe is for nerds. I do danger.
That's the nice thing is Rakan is I can kind of go in and be like, all right, let's do this. And then when it starts looking bad, I'm like, all right, peace.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Yeah, they did. We almost did get the inhib turret bottom. Let's set up around here.
Woo! Being bad just feels so
An
good.
enemy has been slain.
How do the Star
An
Guardians
enemy has been slain.
are so darn
I think we should go ahead and get Baron. Let's go get Baron. We don't have a wave. Yeah, just get Baron. I always like taking Baron off the map too, because that way if you lose a fight, then they don't get Baron. I used to be like kind of split on maybe sometimes inhibitor, sometimes not, you know. But now, if it's even remotely close, I think you should just take the Baron off the map, with just how stuff has changed over the years.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
Hey, thanks, Jacob. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate it. Jacob Chavez.
forget my name, just call for the Lord of Darkness. Prince Eagle.
I don't think healing's that much of a problem in the game right now. Personally, on most champs.
I only believe in myself.
I know you can get the, on paper, you can get a very large amount of plus healing and shielding, but I just don't see that happening on most champs. Mostly enchanters are down a lot in terms of win rate. Like Soraka and Sona are up some, but I don't know. I guess we'll see if I play against a Soraka. It seems really problematic, but
Because I'm free, and I am free because I'm bad.
they have nerfed a lot of the strongest stuff.
Safety is boring.
I don't know why we're split up. Okay, I'm gonna come up here.
Killing spree.
Most good guys are just kidding themselves.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Between the rules.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Evil never looked so hot.
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
Universe tends towards chaos.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Let's just get this.
I don't apologize for doing my thing.
Be careful. Alright.
Life sucks when outside. It's less complicated.
Oops. Didn't mean to do that. But whatever. I think Elder needs to be more difficult too. I think he's so much easier to kill than Baron. He does almost no damage and he doesn't apply a debuff. Especially considering it's like the strongest buff in the game.
This planet's going
Double kill.
Damn, Teemo's going off. He's OP, man.
self-control is for stars.
I like directly contradicting myself. That was a joke.
Ally has been slain. A summoner has disconnected. An enemy has been slain.
I mean, to be honest, the real estate like stuff is kind of BS too. I don't know. I mean, as someone who, you know, potentially could be interested in doing like working on a fixer-upper and stuff like that, there are a lot of like tax benefits to real estate. Now, part of that is that, I mean, it is risky. It's a lot riskier than things like stocks and stuff like that, but you can basically, it's very, very common with like real estate investment, whether it's rentals or flip or whatever, to not pay any taxes on your gains. And I mean, once again, that all seems good, but that means someone else is paying for that tax, right? Or it just doesn't get paid. So that means someone else is paying for the local school, someone else is paying for the food kitchen, and I just don't think it should be, you know, just all McDonald's workers that are paying for that stuff, and Walmart greeters and stuff like that are paying for that over, you know, some of these investors that are raking in like massive profits. Like the movie Hook. Yeah, God, I haven't thought of that movie in forever. I thought that was scary as hell. Didn't they like put someone in a box with like a scorpion or something? I remember thinking that was really freaky as a kid. All right, we'll play one more here. Well, that is the thing too that, you know, a lot of this and like a lot of the housing stuff that's going up are investment people, right? That are snapping up these houses and flipping them or renting them out, which in and of itself I think is fine, but it's the fact that everyone else is paying for that because they're not paying enough taxes on that stuff. I don't mind, you know, if you want to do a fix and flip or fix and rent or whatever and you earn a 30% profit on it, fine, but you know, some amount of that should be paid in taxes. You get all sorts of stuff. You get depreciation, which is basically where you don't have to pay taxes because your building is like you have to replace stuff, so you get to depreciate it. Jungle Morgana is probably a dodge. We played this little game on the first day of this patch. We had like 3 Jungle Morganas in a row. Because when you're not paying, like when someone doesn't pay tax, that means someone else is. You know, to cover certain things, or there's just a shortfall. I think it'd be interesting to see. It probably couldn't work, but if there was a way to make taxes more like fun or inviting or interactive. I guess there's not, but I mean that's kind of what charity is to some extent. If you donate to charity, you get to write that off as a deduction on your taxes. Then you're kind of choosing the causes where you want your money to go, that you believe in, that you think are well managed. But you can't really do that all the time with the government, because some of the most important stuff is some of the stuff that's like a hard sell, or it's a difficult to sell. It's like, hey, we need to do this and this, and it's not flashy, but it's something that just needs to be done, you know. So just thinking like games have figured out a way to do that, right? A lot of games where they're free to play, so you're not just like all in like a tax that you would pay to play the game, but they're free to play, but you get to choose how you're spending your money, right? Like League of Legends, you get to choose how do you want to spend your money on League of Legends, right? You want to, which skins do you want to buy, you know, which chromas do you want to buy, and all that kind of stuff. So it feels, I think, less bad to spend money on something like League than it would be to pay, you know, whatever, $100 a year subscription to League or something like that. Yeah, this is probably going to be a dodge. We have Scissors and Morgana Jungle on the same team. Maybe. So, I don't know. It's really complicated, but I think it's just a problem of public perception with taxes, where taxes are always seen to be bad and you should avoid them at all costs. And it costs you money, so that's bad, but somehow changing the rhetoric of that conversation to be something like a civic duty and you're helping people out and stuff like that. And if people had more choice in how they would pay or what they would pay and who it would go to, I think that would be cooler, but also that's probably pretty impractical. So I don't know. But yeah, I think our tax system, there's just so many loopholes and so many weird things. And so much of it is like special interests and who was I on? Was I on this? I think I was on the Snake Prof, right? We'll get on the other one. Like, one thing that was really interesting that I've had a student do a research paper before is that our corn is very heavily subsidized in the U.S., which means we pay for it. We pay, basically, farmers to grow corn a lot of times, and a huge reason for that is that high fructose corn syrup is seen to be, like, an extremely effective, you know, additive in foods. because it makes stuff sweeter. It's a lot cheaper than cane sugar, I believe, in general to produce, at least with our agricultural system. And that's what gets people to buy a lot of food. And, but obviously on the flip side of that, it is really unhealthy, right? Because we have a huge obesity problem in the country. Diabetes is a huge problem. Heart disease is a huge problem. That is, that's bad. Like that's good for kind of profitability for a lot of companies, and I don't know about the profitability of farmers in that situation, but what she was exploring, the student was exploring, well, what if we shifted those subsidies over, either removed them so corn actually had to compete with other foods like kale or soy or whatever else. But right now those foods can't really compete with corn in a lot of situations because people, like, the government just throws a bunch of money at corn to suppress the price. So if you're a farmer and you can grow, a bushel of corn, and I don't know exact prices, but just in theory, if you could grow a bushel of corn for $5, or you could grow a bushel of kale for $10, and it costs, it's the same amount of land, costs the same amount of fertilizer, all that stuff. It probably doesn't, but just for the sake of simplicity, then what are you going to grow? Of course you're going to grow corn, right? Because you're making twice as much money off of that. Or I guess maybe I had it flipped around. If you would get paid $10 to grow the corn after all the costs versus $5 to grow the kale after all the costs, then you'd probably grow corn. So that's why other vegetables and things have a really hard time competing, and that's why you don't see as much in a lot of like foods involving that stuff. Now there has been a movement recently for like kind of this cleaner food, locally grown food, that type of stuff, where people are kind of making those choices on their own to eat healthier, but it's still a relatively small amount of the population. And there have been some calorie-free sweeteners over the years, right? Like Splenda right now is very popular. Okay, they banned Gwen. But anyways, that's just one example of the tax code like steering behavior and health in a massive way in our country that people never even think about. Is just which crops are getting subsidized and not, and how does that affect which foods are competitive for farmers to grow and for stores to sell, and that type of stuff. So it was really very cool, and that's why I love like teaching the classes that I teach and giving students such freedom with their research. Is I get to learn a lot. So I get to teach them how to research, how to think about their sources, how to present themselves professionally in an academic discourse community, but then I also get to learn about all these topics, which is fun. Yeah, everything used to use pure sugar here, and there are other places that use pure sugar, right? I think some of the South American places still use cane sugar because they have a different sort of structure. Their corn is not subsidized as much, and they may not be able to grow as much corn as they can sugar. I'm not sure. I smoke every OP. He is 80. He was 80% on Gwen. That guy's really good on fiddle. This guy really doesn't play Draven that much, but whatever, I guess. This guy's... Oh, that's Dr. Arwal. Okay. Rich homie, what? Guan? He's playing Irelia. Does he ever play Irelia? Okay, someone dodged. Oh, wait a second. I'm not sure. It's interesting. I hesitate as always. Like, I think we can definitely learn stuff from other countries, but there are some, like, each country is very different in terms of their laws, their geography, their sort of culture, the will of the people, stuff like that. And so, like, some of these smaller countries can be much more agile and can really do some really great stuff, get it done quickly, and end up with some really solid results. But America is just such a quagmire of political interests, and then just really diverse, like very diverse cultures, a lot of different people, right? You've got even just regionally, like of course you've got Latino cultures and African American cultures and Asian American cultures and all of that with sort of the European cultures. Then you also have regional stuff, right? Like the Northeast is very different from the South, and that's very different from the Midwest or the West Coast. And all of them have different kinds of geographies, different sorts of priorities, economically, different sorts of density in their population, and, geographical layouts. Like, there's so many factors. In the United States, it's just, like, extremely difficult to do, like, something that's wide-scale, huge changes that are going to be, very beneficial. There's some of it, but yeah, a smaller country like New Zealand, you can do, you can do stuff pretty quickly and do things like that and be a lot more effective because they're going to have, once again, a much smaller geography, a much smaller population, a much more homogenous culture. There definitely are some different cultures on the island, I'm sure, but not to the same extent as the United States, I don't believe. The United States just has huge, like, international presence too. I didn't even talk about that, but just how we're connected and just the supply chains and logistics between how U.S. corporations are just so, like, part of this huge web of a global ecosystem, both in terms of economics and politics. All these supply chains and stuff like that is just extremely complicated. It's not even a melting pot anymore. Melting pot, makes it sound like everyone's growing together as one culture, and I don't think that's true at all. These days, I think that people are distancing themselves further than ever, at least since, maybe the 60s. But I like that idea, but this is, I think, as close as we've come to civil war in this country since the Civil War, probably. Hell yeah, Corn. What's up, butter? We'll get one more game in here. If you guys want to do a dungeon or something after this, just let me know. If not, that's fine too. Let's level up, maybe go to sleep for a little bit, but I'd be down for another BRD or ST or something if you guys want. I do need to talk to a couple more people for the Anixia thing, so it might take me, 10 minutes to set that up. Damn, I really wish that I wasn't, yeah, I'm not sure. I need to finish. I need to get my priest quest for that too. I don't remember which item comes out of that, but I feel like it was pretty good. I think I've started it, but damn, I really wish I wasn't first pick, because I would like to go Yuumi with Twitch, but I can't first pick blind pick Yuumi. I just do Rakan. I mean, Rakan's fine with Twitch also. Lulu would also be really good, but I just don't want to blind pick those champs and walk into, like, Leona or something. I think Rakan's fine into Leona. Damn, I need to figure out what that princess quest is. Because those gloves, I'm still sad that I missed out on those gloves. I don't think I scouted this out. Let me see. Okay, this guy's pretty good on Twitch. Oh, princess saved. So I have to be on that prince. Okay, that rewards a ring. I don't know why I couldn't see those gloves last time. That's really weird that a boss would drop something that you can't pick up. Raincaster Drake. There are a lot of quests for this, guys. I don't know why. I mean, I guess a lot of them are chains. But there are a couple that are pretty damn good. Very good ring. So you could do Princess Saved or Princess Surprise. I don't know where those gloves are. Maybe the gloves are just a normal drop. Another pretty good ring. Oh, okay. Okay. I'll have to check. I didn't know. It's hard. I'm like sitting here trying to skim these loots. The loot that drops. But yeah, I need to research some of these quests a little bit more and figure it out. But yeah, those are some damn good gloves. There's a good ring out of there too, from a quest with Princess.
30 seconds until the minions spawn.
Gloves are a normal drop from her. Okay. I need to get some of that shit. It was pretty good upgrades. There aren't a lot that I can get in the auction house for most of the gear that's like a reasonable cost. So. Okay. So you have to do the save princess first and then kill her after that to get the loot. Okay.
Used to be a square. Then I embraced the darkness. Woohoo!
I did see a Dark Moon deck going for about 1,500 gold, and I was like, oh god, I really want that deck, man. That's supposed to be like best in slot for Priest, even in TBC if they don't nerf it. I didn't realize this, but Circle of Healing, with that Dark Moon deck, each hit on Circle of Healing triggers a chance for the Dark Moon deck. So whenever I Circle of Healing a group, that's a 10% chance for the Dark Moon deck to proc. So if I'm spamming Circle of Healing and stuff, especially like later on in Black Temple and Sunwell, you have pretty much infinite mana. That's why it's so good. Like, it's already good when you're just like normally getting a 2% chance per cast to gain back like 800 mana, but having a 10% chance is extremely good. So, and that's really only for priests. I think it's like pretty good for druids from what I saw, but most druids, at least on the PvE, go for the alchemist stone and either the blue haste item that you can get early on, or one of like the really top end trinkets, like the one that drops off of the memento of Tyrande or whatever, that drops off of the Black Temple last boss, Illidan. And then shamans and paladins almost certainly don't use it because they don't really have mana problems. Priest is like the most mana hungry role, so like mana is a big deal. Priest has very high base values on their heals, and they have a lot of different kinds of heals, but they definitely have the highest mana problems. So that's why that deck is specifically very good for Priest. Hey, what's up, Sammy? Hey, that's a cool looking picture. I can't see the details, but it's very colorful. Looks kind of fly.
Living the dream. The dream of darkness.
An ally has been slain.
It also depends on your healing roll. You're right. But I think it's a nice trinket nevertheless to have. But 3,500 gold is pretty steep. I would like to try to maybe farm it myself from Ubers, if it is very steep. Because the ace is the only thing that costs a lot. The other stuff you can get on the auction house for like maybe 30 gold or something per card. It's just that ace. But it has a 10% chance off of Beast, and I could make, you know, a group that hard reserves it. Or I could offer to pay people out for it. I don't know, pay everyone 30 gold or something if it drops, if they give it to me. Kind of like a GDKP type of thing.
Swishes. Swish, swish.
Twitch is like, give me that shit, dude. I agree. I mean, Viego needs it also, I think, but Twitch just snowballs so freaking hard. If you give him gold, man, because he's just invisible, he just can just turn around and keep killing people. The boots are pre-raid bis. Yeah, I just gave it to Sharis. I didn't know if there were better boots. There might be, but I'll hook Sharis up. I mean, he's been running a lot of dungeons with us. He's my homie. You know, even some of the lower level dungeons when he was higher level. And it really, I mean, it's DPS. I figured there's probably better healing boots, maybe, but there's almost certainly not going to be better for him. In general, I think vanilla is a little different, obviously, but in general, I think a healer taking like a DPS boot is questionable at best. If someone else needs it, just because usually when something has plus healing, it's a higher number. It pretty much always is than just the flat damage. Oh shit! Well, I didn't get there fast enough. She's really low. Okay, we got the exhaust.
Good guys, just kidding themselves.
I know. It probably is best, and I just wasn't sure on the spot. I was just going off of my previous experience, and also just based on the fact that, you know, once again, Charis is a homie. He's been helping us out the whole way, and it's like definitely, you know, going to be his like a very, very good boot for him. But it'll probably drop again at some point if we run enough BRD.
Self-control is for star nerds. I choose fun.
I did get a piece of loot off of that run too, so like those pants were very good for me. So the gloves would have been very good too, but you know, it's my fault for being lazy and not reading the quests. We were running with those like super geared warrior guys too, and they probably didn't want to screw around with the prison, and I don't even know why they were running it, honestly. I thought they might have been running it for that trinket, but they already had it, so. I just got 6. Okay, he did get pretty low there. Damn, I died. Where did she go? Did you flash out of that? I guess she flashed backwards. I didn't want to get hit with the Nami bubble. Maybe I shouldn't have gone for that. I thought Twitch would be able to get him, but without me having Ignite and without Twitch having ult, that was probably a bad idea. Probably a bad idea. Oh, there's a hammer. Oh, Iron Foe. There will also be like the PvP coming out, and I don't know about the see, I don't know, like stuff can be pre-raid this also, but the fact that ZG and AQ is out now as well, and the fact that there are so many pugs going off for those all the time, you know, there's gonna be some good loot in there that'll be accessible. But even if it was, you know, even if it is, you know, my pre-raid, fucking summoners. Twitch keeps shooting through minions too. Like, we just don't quite have enough damage. We're just not synced up yet. I need to maybe just back and buy. I mean, they're doing really well, crushing everywhere else on the map. I should have just waited until his ult was back up. It was I just got greedy because Caitlyn was very low, and I got hit by the Nami bubble. But I shouldn't have tried that without Ignite. Oh yeah, you're saying they kick people? I imagine so. But that's one of the luxuries, I think, of being a healer, is that they always need healers, man. Because so few people, it's just like League, just like everything in life, so few people like to be the support, you know? I've even seen some groups literally say, we will take healers that are under 60. Because they just needed one more. They're like, we'll take a 59 healer. And Priest is like the premier healer also. Now, I'm not a dwarf priest for some of these runs. Now, they, you know, especially for like BWL, they probably want a dwarf. But you know what? I think they'll take what they can get most of the time. I was looking up, do you have any experience with the soft reserve system. I was looking that up, and it actually looked very intelligent. Like, everyone can kind of reserve one item beforehand, and you only roll against people that are going for that one item. So that way, if you just need to go in for one piece of gear, there's a higher chance you get it. For, we can't. We don't have priorities, and we're behind. So that keeps people that just need that one item that's a really rare drop. Like, it keeps the geared people coming in. You know, like in MC, for example, people who want to get that legendary. It keeps them coming back. And then if you're a newer person, that's fine for me. I need everything. So, you know, I don't need to go for the best gear. So I can just, like, soft reserve something that drops a lot that nobody else is going to soft reserve. So it seems like everybody wins. Like, veterans get the low chance, like, really, you know, marquee items, and then newer people can just get just more stuff, you know, in general, just to kind of get you going. So it seemed really, really smart to me. And gives a reason for people to go back and do some of the older raids for some of those really low percent things.
An enemy has been slain.
The universe tends towards chaos.
Yeah, I need to figure out, is there a website I can go to? Do people use like an app or something to figure out how much to charge as an initial bid on these GDKPs? Are we going up there? It has a really stupid switch. We just basically gave them free priority everywhere. $20G, that cheap? Now, who gets it? Does that just go to the organizer and, like, the guild, or does everyone in the raid split that money? So, like, if you're going to a 20-man ZG, is every single person who doesn't bid on gear, do you split that gold between everybody? Or does that only go towards the organizer, and the organizer splits it between, like, his homies? I think I don't remember the cooldown on her ult, but it was getting a little spooky. It's a split between everybody in the guild, I mean, that might be cool to run those, even if I just get the gold, right? Even if I don't see an item that I want to buy, just doing, like, a ZG run and walking away with, like, 100 gold or something for 30 minutes. I mean, I'd be cool with that.
How do the Star Guardians see anything? Their sparkles are so darn sparkly.
An enemy has been slain.
Enjoy your life.
I mean, each person would get 5% also. You're saying they get an additional 5%? I mean, that's fair. It takes time to organize stuff, and the tanks are, you know, have bigger repair bills and stuff like that. That was rough. $90 minutes? Okay.
Self-control is for star nerds. I choose fun.
Well, I mean, that's true, but you have a higher percent chance, right? That's what I think. I mean, what Dave says about, like, a pug being able to come in if they want to reserve, you know, the legendary item or something like that. Yeah, they can, but there might be fewer people that would do it than in a normal run. Because of a normal run without the soft reserve, everybody's going to roll on it, right? Or on BOEs or something like that. Like, everyone's going to roll. So even if you just get a few people to not pick that as their soft reserve, then that still is increasing your odds, right, over not doing it at all. I think we have to lay this down, yeah. Yeah, we just got to give that up. I mean, they're all... He gets them really low. I feel like it's a 4v5. Let's not do it. It's going to be a disaster. Damn. I got trapped, or I would have been able to kill the Caitlyn. I did get her flash, I guess, which is good, but... How much are we talking to buy stuff in ZG? Were you saying it was like 20 gold? I mean, I was thinking they're going to be selling shit for like 400 gold minimum. But I mean, if they're selling shit for like, you know, under 100 gold, just for some entry level stuff, especially those trinkets. I mean, the trinkets probably go for more, but those trinkets out there are actually really good. I think one of them could still be like very useful in Burning Crusade. The one that gives like 40% haste to your greater heal on certain fights that might require like very intense tank healing. That could actually be a really good trinket. I'm dead. The champ's just so strong. What are the... I don't know what the idols are. That's fine. People can have the mounts. The head is what you need for the trinket, I think. So that's like 200 gold. A lot of the groups I've seen, the head's hard reserved. But... still gonna be a little squishier, but we'll boost that Twitch up. Maybe I should have just gone Zeke's, but... I could maybe go to those and at least pick up just like some entry level stuff then. I would ideally, I would prefer to do like a soft reserve or just even an open one if I can. I mean, because the gold is really the most valuable thing, or one of the most valuable things, because the gold is what's going to get me the Primal Mooncloth set, which is going to be extraordinarily expensive, obviously, early on, so... Oh, okay. It's enchants.
Riku, I did not rescue you from a cold dead planet so that you could laugh at me. I rescued you so you could hold my mirror and tell me I look good.
Oh, she inted? Okay. could have avoided that. I stepped on that trap. Yeah, that's what I'm... If I could somehow get the tier 2, just the 3-piece. Like, that 15% mana regen's massive. I can get the head from Onyxia. In theory.
Danger brings out my best. Just on my side.
And then I'd have to do a BWL, which I've seen some pugs for that, but... Shit, he moved. Oh god. Second disaster.
Shut down. Godlike.
Yeah. Well...
I do what I want. No start. Six.
Now, I've literally seen several Ani groups. I mean, people do it all the time for the head, right? For the buffs. And it's just, do they invite other people to come along with them? And I don't see why they wouldn't. I've literally seen groups that are like, hey, we're getting the head for a buff. Come along. Like, everything else, free roll. Like, I've seen several groups like that.
Doing the right thing.
Yeah, I think SR is probably the best. I mean, I've seen several groups doing that. This is gonna be rough. The Vlad with fire, the fire buff, and then Kale. Like, it's gonna be so hard to pick anyone off because of Kale late game. And Viego's just kind of worthless at this point.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Can't kill evil, but you can wear it like a...
Your inhibitor has been destroyed.
This place will look different when we're...
I mean, it's possible, like, if we literally evaporate Kale immediately at the start of the fight and then somehow survive Vlad. I maybe should have gone Locket this game instead of Shrelia's. I haven't really done that a lot, but I've seen some top-end Rakans doing that.
Universe tends to escape. I'm just helping it along.
I'll be right under.
World's gonna burn.
Gosh, she moves so fast. Oh, Jesus. I didn't even notice he was there.
Enemy double kill.
How the fuck is he so fat? Oh, I guess he got that thing, but...
An enemy is legendary.
I guess... Does this give movement speed? Yeah, okay. So he gets 10% from that, and then he gets 26 off of that. I guess he can use that also. So, alright. He's fast. And he's got phase rush. Okay, well, he did get a... I mean, maybe we can backdoor. They did get an inhibitor. Okay. I figured it probably was, Nehru. You seem pretty knowledgeable, and AOI seems pretty knowledgeable.
Ooh, Riku, let's destroy everything they hold dear and then laugh in their faces.
Yeah, like I said, I raided in TBC back in the day. We were on Black Temple when I retired, but that was a long time ago. And then I raided some in like Warlords, but I didn't do any vanilla. And especially not with all these different like systems going on, like the soft reserve and stuff like that. Just really, and like nobody pugged back in the day, or at least I didn't, because I had, you know, guilds. People were very anti-pugging too, even on my Warlord server, which I found really annoying. Damn it. Did they flash or something? Oh god. But it was, I don't know, they did have flash though. They pretty much always have flash. Well, I mean, like our jungler just never forces, like, no one forces flash but us. Basically, if I come in with my ult, I force flash, but that's it. Like, no one else on our team forces flashes, so. But yeah, it was so annoying because we would have people that just couldn't show up one night. I mean, and life happens, I totally get it, but we had, like, no one wanted to be on the reserves, right? So if they didn't have a starting spot on your raid roster, they were out. In Burning Crusade, or in, Warlords. Burning Crusade, we had a pretty large reserve list of people we would run through Karazhan and through Gruul sometimes and stuff like that. You know, keep people happy. We do battlegrounds, they do arenas and stuff, so, you know, if someone missed a day or two, we could still raid, right? They may not have as much gear or as much experience with the fights, but we could still do something. And I think we just hard lose this, but I'm not I think we just lose anyways. But having that reserve list is nice, and even being able to pug stuff is nice. Like, that was an option back in the day, but in Warlords, we'd be like 18 people for the Mythic run, and then 2 people be missing, and people just be like, all right, well, let's just call it because we're missing 2 people. I'm like, why don't we just pug 2 people? Like, they're like, but they might get the loot. It's like, but nobody gets the loot if you don't kill the boss, and at least you get experience also with the fights. Like, I don't know. That's part of why I'm like a little hesitant about just a pure DKP system, is because it really punishes pugs and reserves. And like, I get it that people that have been there downing that boss forever, have been helping out the guild forever, like, it's definitely a consideration in terms of like who should get loot, but I don't think a pug or a reserve should automatically be barred from getting loot, because they're helping you out and you want to keep those people happy, right? So that they actually stay in your guild, or so they will maybe come back if you need pugs again. So I think they're a really, really important part of the ecosystem. That is only on Heroic, though, I believe. That at least in Warlords, that was only on Heroic, that raids scaled based on the amount of people that you had. It was from like 10 to 30 or something like that. I don't remember. But Mythic, at least back in the day, it had to be 20 people. No more, no less, and it was 1 difficulty level on Mythic. So Heroics, that was a very good system for Heroics. But I mean, if it wouldn't have gotten cleared without the pugs or the reserves, it wouldn't have gotten cleared. Nobody would have gotten it. And it can make those people happy, right? If it's a pug, maybe they join your guild, right? If it's a reserve, then they're happy. You know, they got a piece of gear. So, you know, maybe they'll come back next time. Yes, normal and heroic scale like that, but Mythic doesn't. So that was really annoying for me. I'm talking mostly about Mythic. I ran so many pugs for Heroics. I was decked out. I had everything from Heroics. And Heroics were fun. They were challenging, but I wanted the Mythics, damn it. I wanted the top-end stuff. And I just could not find people that... I just could not find a steady group of people that would show up where we had reserves. I just remember, and that's it for League for tonight, unfortunately, guys. I know I got on late. I'm going to try to get back in tomorrow. And I did record the support tier list. I just didn't release it today, so I guess I'll release that tomorrow. And then once I get the numbers for the next patch, then I'll do a patch preview as well. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that kind of happened to me where it was in Warlords where... I helped this guild. It was on a heroic High King Mulgar, like pretty early after it was released, and they pugged me in there, and I was like, you know, #1 healer the entire time, even though I had less gear on the mythics or on the on this heroic, and I did not screw up. I didn't hit the bombs. I did everything right. I was every pull, no problem, and we were there for like. It felt like forever. It was like 2 hours doing this boss. It was so many wipes. And, you know, their guild leader, they're running it like a freaking boot camp or something. Just being kind of rude to their own guildies, threatening to kick people and all this stuff. And it was kind of a rough experience. But then after that, they, like, this staff dropped that was really good for me. It was definitely a big upgrade. And, you know, they didn't let me roll on it. They're like, no, this has to go to someone in the guild or whatever. And I'm like... Y'all should have fucking clarified that before I just spent 2 hours carrying your ass through this. And then like a couple days later, they invited me to their guild. And I was like, no, dude. Why would you ever think I would accept that after the way that you treated me a couple of days ago, right? So, all right, let me do this Ani stuff just really quickly, and then... I think I just have to talk to a couple of people. But yeah, so that just always kind of stuck out to me, and that, you know, I was helping these people out, and I think that I should have at least had a role on it, or they should have told me beforehand. That's exactly right. Oh, yeah, hey, what's up, man? I'm just gonna go... Well, I mean, you could do hard reserve stuff. I mean, I wouldn't probably want to do, like, you know, we'd reserve Dagger Spine Trophy or some things like that. But yeah, ideally not do pugs, but, you know, again, if it comes down to something being done or not, then, Love Potion in BRD, what is that? I don't even know. Okay. Dark Iron Fanny Pack. Slay this guy. Okay, okay, so I need to go to Stormwind real quick.
How are you? Keep your feet on the ground.
This is the Nixie attunement. Or which one? You talking about the what, the succubus one? Love Potion? Oh, okay. Feed a dude 6 beers and it's all good. Underworld band. Isn't that like usually a 300 gold ring? Or are you talking to one of the locks? Oh, okay, that's the locks. Gotcha. But that's like super expensive, right? I've been looking at those Band of the Unicorns. Those are usually like 60 gold. So you got a good... I would definitely buy some of those for 9 gold if they were going that cheap. That's good, because my rings suck right now. Okay, yeah. If you want to talk via guild, I think sometimes it's easier via the stream chat, but I am going to cut the stream here in a second. Hey, thanks, Sammy. I don't know. I mean, for me personally, usually the water, this whatever Morning Glory is fine when combined with Spirit Tap. I mean, higher level water is nice, but... I mean, I could use some nicer rings as well, but... Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, that's easier then, if you don't have the second monitor. I ended up getting the second monitor a couple of years ago. It's actually really huge. For being able to interact with the chat better. I was like trying to use my phone before, and it was like not great. Nice. Yeah, I could get I could get the 300 tailoring like whenever I want. I'm just not doing it because there's nothing that I really need to craft right now. I'm kind of disappointed that like the Mooncloth stuff and the Fellcloth tailoring stuff is not better, but it's like it's all right. But considering like the Dreamweave is such a good set of like mid-tier items, it feels like some of those things are barely better than Dreamweave. Is any of that Argent Resist stuff used in TBC? I was kind of wondering that, if it's like worth it. I feel like as a healer especially, I don't really need a ton of resists. It's like usually the tanks are like the warlocks on a couple of those fights. Argent has some good frost resist. I know like on Hydros, frost resist is supposed to be pretty good, but... Huh. Nice. So is Lady Prester, is she getting it on with my man here or what? Is this a hybrid kid?
Mother, have you heard any news of my father?
Need help?
King's honor, friend.
I haven't kept up with the lore.
King's honor, friend.
What can I do for you? Need help? Be careful.
Greetings. Farewell.
What a bee, man.
Well met. Light bless you.
Primal Shadows. Spoiler alert. Yeah, I know. I'd read the thing. That's why I was just wondering how that works. Well, yeah, man, but I mean, if people, I mean, I know it because I read the quest line, but there's a chance that, you know, some people haven't. Like, I am a person who had, but alright, going over to Lakeshire here. The Glacial Cloak, okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, I think that cloak might be good for tanks. But I don't need it, I don't think, as a healer. There were some things as Argent Dawn. I think they have a couple of patterns that could be useful. Probably just for vanilla, though.
For the Alliance.
I think I have enough. I have 10. Well, yeah, but healers do have to pop mana potions all the time. Or often in fights, which does get expensive. So yeah, you don't have to buy fancy resist gear. It's the warlocks that get off easy, man. I remember being a warlock, really not having to pop mana potions as often on a lot of fights. I guess if you have to get, if you're the fire lock, like if you're the fire resist warlock, then there are a couple of fights where that could be a pain in the ass, but yeah, usually it's just one warlock that has to do it. I guess it's nice to have a couple, just in case one isn't there on a certain night.
Light be with you. Go with honor, friend.
Alright, I think after I get over the burning steps, I should be good, I think. And then we just have to do the jailbreak. Nice. What about that much coveted trinket that you got?
Need help? Well met. Farewell.
Okay. So you can use rep tokens for Yeah, that would definitely help. We'll have to see. I mean, if we're clearing the content pretty quickly, I might even be able to get like a step down in the mana potions, especially if I get that Dark Moon card. Because usually if you just take one step down from whatever the best thing is, you know, it cuts the cost by like 70%. Okay. I'll have to look that up and see. But I mean, if we're going like really hard progression, you got to make sure you're strapped. I remember I used to get like just do the Flask of Supreme Power or whatever, which you could get from a vendor. I think it was cheaper, I believe. Then there was one that was slightly higher. It was like 10 spell power higher. That was like shadow damage or something, I think. Ragged John.
Light bless you.
Where is he? Y'all know where... Oh, Northwest Steps. Dark Iron Legacy. It's Dungeon. Oh, is that him? Ragged John's story. Okay. Oh, just listen to his dialogue. Alright. I think I'm almost done with this this part of it. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to definitely figure out how to cut that cost, because that is one thing. Yeah, if I find a good group, these little pickup groups and stuff, it's probably every week at the same time and place, I would imagine. So if there's one that's working really well, it's like a soft reserve one. You know, I'll probably just link up with them for the last... I still think it's not going to be released TBC until June at the earliest, because I think they're going to give at least a month on pre-patch for the shamans to level up. I think anything that's faster than that would feel kind of bad for shamans, because, you know, you're already going to have to move your ass to get to 60 by the time, if they're not going to let you boost. Right, by the time that TBC releases, so... Even like 1 month is really fast to get to 60 for a lot of people, right? That have jobs, that, you know, can't just no life it for 12 hours a day, that type of thing. So that should hopefully give me at least, you know, month and a half, 2 months of some of these SR groups to maybe pick up some gear. If tomorrow's pre-patch, that'd be nuts. Wait, am I in the right place? That dude's not gonna kill me, right? Okay. What is this for?
Have a good one.
Broodling Boil. When I'm a higher level, that'd probably be cool. I do kind of miss my skinning. I just like collecting stuff, so like skinning and herbs and things like that are fun. Where's this John guy?
How you doing?
Creepy John or whatever?
Yeah, what do you want?
Welcome, friend. Glad I could help.
Talk to me.
Oh, there's Ragged John. Okay.
How are you?
Wait a minute, are you drunk?
Be good.
Very uplifting and informative.
Fight?
Okay. That's kind of weird that it doesn't have, like, the standard question mark there.
Watch, get her back.
Okay. I'm back down here. I know. I was saying that, like, but I mean, this day and age is different than original, right? Like, a lot of people. Jesus. Yeah, if you're doing skinning, once you get to heavy leather, you can make some pretty decent money. Or herbing. Herbing is really, like, very late game. I feel like there's, like, Swift Thistle. There are some herbs that are good, but the real money in herbs are in the top end zones. But leather working, for some reason, is actually, like, heavy leather, at least, was selling pretty well. Like, 2 or 3 gold a stack. Oh, your power flickered? Okay. Hey, what's up, Rust TV? Good to see you, buddy. I think we ended up going 7-1 on Rakan. We had won 7 in a row. I think we won like 6 coming into today. Do we? Maybe it was 5 coming into today. We won 1 on the other account. We won 1 on the Smurf account, I think. So we played 3 games, right? We had a lot of dodges. We may have only played 2 games, but I think we played 3. Yeah, I think they should let the new characters boost. I mean, I guess that they want people to have to level up. So that's kind of their way of sort of saying, like, you know, we want people to level. But they aren't making people have a level 60 in order to get the boost. That was one thing that, you know, an option that people had talked about. Okay, so now I'm on the Ragged. I have to go find him. Okay, so this is the Black Rocks thing. Okay. Well, whenever he gets back on, if y'all summon me, we should be good. Yeah, that's true. I really wanted to do herbing too, but tailoring is absolutely a must eventually for, I think, Blackrock Medallion, Fire Gut Ogre. What do these drop from? Ember Wargs. Yeah, I mean, that's true. It's just like that would only be if they're specifically giving the boost so people could have alts or something. But it does feel inconsistent that they would not let the Draenei boost, I think, but kind of short on the food. Well, no, actually I do have quite a bit of food. Probably not gonna hopefully be here that long farming this stuff. Yeah, we're just kind of chilling after League. I did get on a little bit late. I got on at like 1:30 or like 1-ish. I've been trying to do like 11:30 or 12, but yeah, we're just chilling. I might go ahead and just log off the stream just because you know, the numbers do tend to dip. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and log off the stream, but then if people want to keep talking. Oh, that's true. Yeah, rogues are going to need that stuff in TBC still. But anyways, okay. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and turn off the stream. But thank y'all very much for tuning in. Like I said, I'll try to release some more content tomorrow. I do have the tier list. I should be able to release that hopefully midday. And then I'll do a patch update and maybe just do an overall tier list for... overall for the other roles, so stay tuned for that. But anyways, that's gonna be it. Have a good day, and we'll see everybody next time.